Half of Britons say we should only trade with those respecting human rights. Half of Britons believe the country should only trade with those that have a good record on human rights, even if it hurts the economy.
Here's a summary of the article.
Half of Britons believe the country should only trade with those that have a good record on human rights, even if it hurts the economy. The opinion comes in response to a survey of 17,000 people in 24 countries that also showed the U.S. is seen as one of the countries most likely to use its power for bad purposes. Globally, more than a third of people said their country should only trade with nations with a good human rights record, but 33% said their country should instead trade freely regardless of human rights concerns. Britons and Swedes were most likely to say a country's human rights record should be taken into account before trading is agreed. Countries seen as most likely to use their influence for good were Germany and Canada. The poll also found that just 38% of people around the world believed their country should always follow international laws on human rights. Just over half of the respondents agreed that if a country commits war crimes, other countries should intervene to stop it, even if that infringes on sovereignty, but only 4 in 10 were as keen on such global policing if it meant their own country should act.
This post received a score of 30,097, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
A better question to ask would be something like, a laptop costs £400, but comes from China, which has a questionable human rights record. How much more would you be prepared to pay for one from wherever that has a good record? £0 billion, £50 more, etc. I still think people would overrepresent their support for human rights, particularly to a human researcher, but it would be more immediately meaningful to most.
The answer is you don't have a laptop because they're all made there.
You don't have any electronics, basically.
Another problem is all the rare earth metals used in the manufacture are not ethically sourced. It is going to take a lot of work to fix that problem. Excellent point. The tantalum in your phone comes with a heavy price of little boys dying in mudslides.
Most people don't have a good idea what the consequences of a herd economy are. It's too abstract a formulation. If they formulated it as even if it comes with a 10% chance of you becoming unemployed for a couple of years, I think the results would be different.
And that, kids, was how Brexit happened.
Who knew tearing up every trade agreement you signed for over 40 years in a single stroke could be a bad thing?
16.1 meters people had a reasonable inkling it might be a bad idea.
Too bad it wasn't some other number like 17.4 million.
Till the total voting population who cast a vote in the Brexit decision is smaller than the population of California.
Smaller than the entire country of Canada, too.
California is larger than Canada in population, GDP, surfable beaches, and cannabis production and consumption. If California left the US and became a Canadian province, Canada would be twice as cool and the average temperature would shoot up, also drastically increase the chance of a Canadian Stanley Cup win.
Let's make this happen.
If California leaves the Union, Canada is free to join Greater California.
Hurts the economy. What's the worst that could happen? We all lose a couple quid? The general public doesn't know what the fuck it is talking about.
It kinda reminds me of Seattle saying they won't resign their contract with the lender they had and were going to go with an ethical bank. They couldn't find one. I believe this was Seattle specifically, and it was because Wells Fargo was one of the banks that does business with the company behind the North Dakota pipeline. The issue was that literally every bank does business with that same company. It's a massive company doing hundreds of projects across the US, world, and the city of Seattle is a huge pain in the ass to deal with, so no bank wanted them. The city council is also full of incredibly holier-than-thou people and extreme SJWs.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.